Is the nation's aviation manpower depleted and aging? This is the first question the Acting Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Benedict Adeileka, answered as he speaks with Aviation this week.
We have a gap in the middle. Nigeria has gone through a stage that we stopped training younger ones in aviation. But that is catching up now. And that is why we have experience. Because in aviation, experience, unlike other professions, experience is very key in aviation.
So, all right, let's take it this way. How long does it take an average pilot and engineer to gain the kind of experience that an average airline or aviation service will be looking for?
The pilots go through their pilot training school, and it depends on what type of course. It takes like about a year, 18 months. The engineers take longer because probably they have more modules. And once they come out of school, that is just the beginning of their training. They both come out with basic licenses. Pilot license, engineer license, air traffic controller license, cabin crew license, dispatcher licenses. There are different categories. Flight engineer's license, different types, aeronautical station operator's license, air traffic controller, etc. Now, when you come out, then you have to go through what we call OJT, on-the-job training. Then you have to be trained on the job. Therefore, the pilots and engineers, they have to go through type training, which means when you come out, everybody comes out with what we call a basic license. Then you have to train to specialize in a specific area. Take, for instance, a pilot who wants to fly a Beechcraft King Air. You have to go for the specific type, go through a simulator, go through online check. As soon as you finish flying that, for you to fly another type of aircraft, you have to be trained on it. And then the number of hours that you train, you log it. The engineers' case are different because there are so many routes that you can use to qualify. You have to go to an institution, you go to a college, you train, you come out. Then some countries use apprenticeship, where you are with structured training. In short, that is what that means. So you go through that, you come out, and they structure your training from aircraft department, working in the hangar. You have base maintenance, you have line maintenance. You know, the line maintenance, that is when the aircraft is flying and it has a problem. Base maintenance is where you do your deep check, like a C check, you know, or a B check or a D check. That's base maintenance. So it takes ages for you to qualify. And so the younger you start, then the better. But what we do get in Nigeria, you have some people who will go to university and qualify and graduate in economics or business administration or engineering. Then they start training, which is good. Then you have a very good theoretical basic background, which you can build on. So it takes time. And it depends on individual. It depends on how lucky you get when you to find a job, because you need to have a job post training to build up your experience.
The NCA as a regulator, do you have a database about the manpower deficiency? Let me put it that way.
We have, yes, a database. How we collate the database is we do regular audits at the airline. When we certify an airline, depends on the size of the airline, depends on the size of the aircraft they have, or number of aircraft they have, and the size of the aircraft they have. It also depends on the number of aircraft they want to maintain in case of maintenance, repair, organization. So we give them a minimum number that they must have. Then they can build on that. And we do. That is how we collate our database. And secondly, we license them. All licensed personnel, let me put it like that, either pilot license or aircraft maintenance engineer's license or cabin crew license, flight engineer's license, flight dispatcher license, air traffic safety electronic personnel license, Aeronautical station operators license, air traffic controllers license, any form of license, we control them. We issue them, we monitor them, we make sure that they are kept current, and we make sure there are recurrences that are required by law, different from the pilot, different from cabin crew, different from aircraft maintenance engineer. So that is how we manage to collate the database. Then that is why we actually notice that we have shortage of personnel. However, one thing I like to stress is the aviation industry is very global. No nation really can be self-sufficient because we have a lot of Nigerian qualified pilots and engineers and cabin crew who worked overseas. Likewise, we have foreign pilots and engineers that works in Nigeria, but we also still keep a database and make sure that that is how we know that yes, we have shortage of manpower. The NCA is doing a lot. We have a very robust training program to train our personnel, and we now mandate the airline. It is mandatory. Training is mandatory for the airline.
Can you just tell us how many pilots we have, how many are currently trained and all of that?
According to records, pilot license, we have 6,621 licenses on that database. The ones that had valid current license are 759. Some of them are probably out of medical. Some of them are probably doing desk job and they don't bother to renew their license. You know, some of them are flying overseas and they're using their foreign license. Some of them are probably foreigners that they came to the country and they've gone back to their country and they have not bothered to renew their license. That is what causes the disparity in the two. Then we have certificate of validation. So we validated 2,157 pilots. Validated means people who has brought in foreign licenses, and we have proved we have a way of means of validating their license. They will do our law locally, make sure they have to pass our local law. Then we now validate it, the license they have. They don't have to go through all the exams and everything. The validation, we have to write to respective authority and they reply us. That is how this one works. So we have the current one that are valid now is 162, which is good. The lower the number, the better for us. So aircraft maintenance engineer's license is the same procedure. We have 3,409 on the engineer's license plan. The ones that have current license now, current valid license, we have 1,122, 1123, which is good. They're likely to be higher than that, which is good. Then we have cabin crew licenses. The cabin crew licenses on the database, we have 3,471. We have 1,108 that are valid. Flight engineer's license, that is understandable. We have 256 on our database. We have 3 with current valid license. So that's the third man crew it's only on old aircraft that we have that. Then the flight dispatchers. For the reasons of safety, the personnel that dispatches the aircraft, we license them, we train them for load and balance, fueling, weather. All those areas are very critical. What we do then is we take that pressure away from the pilot. So we have some professionals at the background that prepares all this load sheet, get the weather forecast. And what the pilots are doing now, they're doing what we call an oversight. Then when they bring it to him, he looks at it. Because it is mandatory now that you cannot depart, without having your weather, both the local weather, en route weather, and the destination weather. So the flight dispatcher license is something we're encouraging now. We have 484 on our database. We have 257 current. Air traffic safety electronic personnel license. They're the engineers, the air traffic engineers. We have 382 on our database. We have 228 valid. So probably those other ones are either retired or they've gone overseas to work. Aeronautical station operator's license. That's another area. We have 134 on our database. We have 122 valid as of today. Air traffic controllers license, we have 578 on our database, and we have 202 valid. So maybe later we have the training organizations like Nigerian Civil Aviation Training Center in Zaria, which is the oldest. They train pilots, and they train engineers. We have Ilorin, International Aviation College in Ilorin, they train pilots. Then we have another one, two in Ilorin that trains pilots. Then we have the Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna, which they also train engineers. They do postgraduate diplomas and everything in Nigeria. So those are the training. What we're trying to do now, we're trying to encourage this training are very expensive. It is very unfortunate that some parents will have to borrow money, take loan in the bank to train them. Now, another program we're looking into now, we're looking into appealing to the industry. I don't know how government can help us. To try and mandate the industry. In all fairness to some airlines, they're doing it very well. The federal government too have to come in. The federal government used to train. When they train pilots and engineers. When they qualify, then they might put them in aero contractors Bristol. That's what used to happen. All those are, disappeared now. We're trying to bring the awareness out now. We're trying to encourage the airlines and operators to train our youth. It's very, very important.
First is the Princess Juliana International Airport, St. Martin, Caribbean. A lot of vacationers flock to the Caribbean for a laid-back vacation. But arriving at the region's airports can have the opposite effect. The compact, rugged nature of many of the islands forces runways to be built in inventive locations. At this airport, named after Dutch royalty, people gnaw at their fingernails in the air and on the ground whenever a plane lands. The runway starts mere meters from the edge of the ocean, with aircraft coming in almost low enough over the beach to spike a volleyball set. Next is the Courchevel Altiport, France. Unlike Caribbean-bound passengers, skiers and snowboarders touching down at Courchevel are usually geared up for an adrenaline fix. They had better be. In winter, the tarmac airstrip at the French resort's Altiport, more than 2,000 meters above sea level, is often the only thing not covered in snow. Aircrafts flying through a channel between mountains, landing on a short, steeply sloping runway complete with vertical drop-off that could almost double as a ski jump. The Matakani airstrip, Lesotho, is another. There is little chance of extending this runway very far. It ends abruptly at the edge of a 600-meter drop. Only light aircraft use the airstrip on this remote tabletop plateau in the tiny southern African kingdom. Lastly, Wancho Waskin Airport, Saba, Caribbean. On the island of Saba lies one of the world's shortest landing strips. Wedged on a rocky outcrop at the foot of a mountain, and with the end of the tarmac plunging into the sea, touchdown here is a dramatic experience.
That's where we disembark on this edition. Please remember to reach us on our feedback platform. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi. See you next week.